popular on Twitter from Dr. Catherine Young. I may have a PhD, but I'm also apparently failing 4th grade math. Here's the problem. The square below is made up of 4 small squares. Can you shade half of it so that the unshaded part is also a square? I love sharing puzzles online, and I think it's something we should all do. I myself...
Isn't it just like shading half of it on the outer rim, creating a one in the middle? Will take up 50%.
Share puzzles that I can't solve online, and I love getting help and I love getting feedback. No matter how smart you are, even if you have a PhD or you've done a math degree, there's still going to be problems you can't solve. That's fine. I love that we can share this on the internet and we can learn something new. So, here's a puzzle for kids that has stumped adults. Can you figure it out? Pause the video if you'd like to give this problem a try. And when you're ready, keep watching to learn how to solve this problem.
Yeah, I mean, PhD does not equal intelligence.
Here's a grid
it's just
of 2 by 2
knowledge.
squares making up a larger square.
Nothing to do with intelligence. That's what I keep saying,
so
man.
The unshaded part
People
is
mix up
also
knowledge
a square.
with intelligence.
Now, at first, this puzzle seems impossible. Shading half would suggest that you shade 2 of the 4 squares. So if you were to shade these 2 squares, then the remaining portion would be 2 squares that are unshaded, and this forms a rectangle. Now we have 4 squares, and we want to shade 2 of them, so there are 6 different ways we can do this. Here's one of the ways. This is not a solution. Here's another way. Here's a third way, which will leave 2 squares. Here's a fourth way, which leaves a rectangle. A fifth way, which leaves a rectangle. And finally, a sixth way, which leaves 2 squares. So none of these methods work. So the question is, how else can we shade the diagram in half? So let's think about this as an adult. Let's imagine that one of the small squares has a side length equal to 1. So the other square also has a side length equal to 1, and the entire large square has a side length equal to 2. The total area of the large square will be 2 squared, or 2 times 2, and that equals 4. Now we want half of the area to be shaded. So half of the total will be 4 over 2, which equals 2. And we want this remaining half, which is unshaded, to be a square. So we need the unshaded square's area to be equal to 2. So if we let the unshaded square have a side length equal to s, we need s squared to be equal to 2, which means that s is equal to root 2. So how are we going to get a square with a side length equal to root 2? Let's think about this. Each square has a side length equal to 1. So now the length of the diagonal of the square will be equal to square root of 2. So let's shade this portion. We have a right triangle with each of the legs equal to 1. So its hypotenuse will be equal to the square root of 1 squared plus 1 squared, which equals the square root of 2. So let's repeat the shading in each of the other 3 small squares. We're going to end up creating a picture frame, and in the middle we have a quadrilateral which looks like a square. Now let's just go ahead and show this is in fact a square. Each of the shaded right triangles is an isosceles right triangle that bisects each small square. So bisecting a 90-degree angle will mean we have a 45-degree angle. The other acute angle will also be equal to 45 degrees. This is true for all of these unshaded triangles going around. Now in this unshaded quadrilateral, 45 degrees plus 45 degrees is equal to 90 degrees. So we have 4 right angles.
Dude, do you actually think I'm wrong, Demotu? Like, you're so fucking dumb. You fucking insert the paste link and you fucking skip forward. You call me a retard. You're so fucking dumb. Because you think my solution is wrong when I said you colored outside of this and leave the middle fucking square. If you were to rotate this square that he has here, right? If you were to rotate it, you would get my solution. which is the exact same thing, right? You have the exact same square. But you're so fucking dumb. Holy fuck.
The shaded isosceles right triangles are congruent to each other, so all of the hypotenuse lengths will be equal to each other.
If you rotate this fucking thingy, clockwise or counterclockwise, then you will have an outer area covered in blue. There are multiple solutions. It's not just one solution.
So we have 4 side lengths that are equal to each other and 4 right angles, and therefore this is a square. We've shaded half of each of the small squares, which means we've shaded half of the total diagram, and we have left an unshaded square. So this is in fact a solution. We have shaded half of the diagram, and
but you
the
can't measure
unshaded
it
portion
easily.
is also
I
half of the
don't give a
diagram
fuck if
and
you can
also
measure
a
it
square.
easily or not.
We know it's half because we've shaded each of these small
I gave you a
squares in
3-second thought,
so this
solution.
is a solution that was probably
is a
intended
solution.
and most people came up with. But
To
you
what
might be
the
wondering,
question was.
are there any other solutions? Shaded half.
Oh, look at that. Are there any other solutions? My solution is there. Wow. Shut the fuck up, retards. You're so dumb. Huh? Are you actually questioning Mensa certified IQ? Huh? That's not very smart.